let's have a little look at some of these comments before I go to Sophia. Do you think United should have an interim until the end of the season and should have got Amorim in the summer? I understand why you say that, but for me, all that would then happen is what happened with Ragnick, and then Ragnick gives information over to Ten Hag and the team, and then most of it gets disregarded by Ten Hag. What we needed to do this time is bring somebody in who's going to be here for the foreseeable, so that he gets to assess these players in real time, gets the feedback into Dan Ashworth. The hope. And this is hope because none of us are in the room. So we're hoping this happens. Mm-hmm. They agree on who's good enough, who isn't, and they start the process of replacing those players over the forthcoming transfer windows. So no, we do need him in now. And there's going to be, and I said this from the start, new bounce or not, there's going to be ups and downs and trials and tribulations. And Man United fans criticize things when they go wrong, absolutely. But you need to grow thick skin. You need to learn that rivals are all gunning for this to fail. They will jump and be all over problems like a bitch in heat. And I'm talking about dogs here, so nobody should be getting offended. They'll be on it like a bitch in heat. They'll be wearing it like a cheap suit to jump on it, because what they want to see is United fans turn on the people they shouldn't be turning on this soon, and that is the Amorims and the Ashworth and co, because it's years of work to fix the club. Anybody that doesn't think it's years of work is either too silly that you should be talking to, a rival, so they don't have our best interests at heart, or a charlatan who is only saying what they're saying for short-term gratification from rivals and attentions across TikTok and Twitter. So that's what I've got. Listen, appreciate the super chat in question, but no, we need him here now. KJ, you're the wind beneath my wings. Brilliant.
I like that.
Terry going through his Poch phase where we played well but lost, always making context of how we conceded. How is it avoidable? I'm loving the denial.
So is he
Poch had a whole year. Poch had a whole year. This is Amorim's sixth game.
Yeah, but I say, is that Blaze saying Amorim's a failure already? Like, because if you're comparing to Poch, that means you're saying he's going to fail. So if that is what you think, then cool, innit? But just let us know.
Also, what am I in denial about? Because if you're saying that this is what you went through with Poch, where you played well and lost, what am I in denial about? Because I said we played quite well and lost because of mistakes. So I'm a little bit confused about what I'm in denial about. And again, unless you think I'm in denial about Amorim improving the club. But what have I also said about Amorim? I'm not even excited because he's the manager per se. What have I said? So when you say I'm in denial, what have I said on many a stream? Let's be fair and consistent with the words that come out of my mouth.
You're excited with the new club structure.
And on top of that, I've said there's no guarantees that Amorim's the guy that gets us back to winning the major trophies. He may be. Again, this is why I don't believe that Chelsea are in a rebuild from this year with Maresca, because I believe everything that's come before it, the good, the bad, and the indifferent, is why they are where they are today. It's why Slot's doing so well. It wasn't a rebuild in the summer. I said I was consistent all along. But Man United started theirs this summer. Amorim has now come in. Maybe we do 2 years of him, get to a certain level, and have to move on from him. I'm not in denial. There's no gap. There's no. I think he could be a very, very big success for us. But I'm also very open to the idea that he only takes us to a certain level. So I'd love you to explain what I'm in denial about specifically, my friend. You're a great member of the Football Terrace. You super chat a lot, so I respect it. But I want to know what you think I'm in denial about, my friend. Now that I've explained that. It's so windy to the tune. It's so windy. So windy. KJ, you might never live that down, my friend. Even though you didn't blame the wind, it's there now.
Where's your Jamaica windbreaker? Where's your Jamaica?
Your new manager bounce was 6 inches meaty.
Hey, yo.
Yeah.
Yo.
I mean, most people would be quite happy with 6 inches according to stats, but I don't know. I can't relate, if I'm being honest with you. Tie settings, blaming the weather. KJ Tie. We will trade you Robert Sanchez and Kepa for Onana.
No, because you know Onana is the best one out of the three. Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sophia, what did you make of today as a United fan?
Guys, buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride with this team, this club under, Ruben Amorim. Bless his heart. Some of these players we already know just aren't gonna cut it. I'm kind of thinking we need to work on crosses. Crossing is something we have to work on. Lord have mercy. The set pieces, when we get them, might as well just
In
give it to
both
the other team.
boxes. In both
Yes.
boxes, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes. Give it to the other team. What are we going to do?
Mm.
We do score sometimes here and there. We do.
Yeah.
But decision making as well. Dallo, I don't know why he thinks he might be like prime Yun Arnerise when he tries to shoot outside of the box for no reason. Respectfully, you're not him. So that's something that he has to stop with because it is annoying the crap out of me. Garnacho, I've been backing him left and right. I know he's still very young, but the decision making from him as well, oof,
Awful.
I think he might be a bit too much into his own hype sometimes. Somebody gotta tell him, please just keep it 100. There's definitely a lot of potential there, but for no reason, it's the decision making at the end of it. Ugarte, I think it looked solid today for me at least.
Yeah.
Licha was kind of all over the place. Yeah, I don't know. I just the team we're lacking some creativity and not creating that much.
Why sound so sad, Sophia? It's a process. It's just the third game. You have to be patient.
Shut the fuck up. You weren't patient.
I'm not even mocking it. I'm actually being serious.
You wanted your new manager's facts on day one about
I'm
patience.
actually being serious.
Shut the fuck
See?
up. You weren't patient.
Yeah, I'm actually being serious. And look,
no patience.
they think I'm mocking them. I'm not. I'm actually being serious.
No, I don't think you're mocking us. I'm calling out your
This is
hypocrisy.
third game. You can't
Brother,
change this
brother,
direction.
you were slot out.
Look how
before he came
depressing
in.
it sounds. Sophia, this is Forest. They beat us at Anfield. Come on,
Yeah.
it's okay.
I'm not depressed.
You lost.
I'm just talking about the game. Of course, we lost. We move on, but this is just my initial reaction right now. When I pull down, I'm okay. We Gucci, but this is just what I feel right now, and we move on, of course. But let's not do that because you were not patient. Let's not do that, Lusam. You were not patient.
Hey, I told you.
I had an emotional reaction. I clarified.
Listen, we are patient, but patience doesn't mean you can't be disappointed in the moment. Blaze has come back to us and said, definitely denial about today. You were average, just like Forest. Now, again, where did I say that we were brilliant, that we were amazing? I think you're not understanding. What I said is that we dominated the vast majority of the game. We had most of the ball. We had most of the chances. Barring our mistakes, they didn't really look like scoring, in my personal opinion, and barring from set pieces as an example. So I stand by that. And if we played that game again today and all the possession stats and chances and opportunities were the same again, we'd probably beat them. Because on another day, the 2 goals in the second half don't go. And we all know there were catastrophic mistakes as opposed to us being ripped apart. So I'm not in denial because I haven't said, oh my God, we were amazing. It's just that our version of Poch played the centre back in left back, and that was the reason why it all fell apart. But it's fine because the system can improve just how we did after losing 4-1 to Celtic. And I agree with the second part of what you said there, Blaze. And Amorim himself has just said this. These are Amorim's words right now. He said, I had this and worse in the beginning at Sporting. And it's just something I think we have to be very mindful of as United fans, to Sam's point about patience. The manager said, we're gonna get found out sometimes, and we're gonna have some really bad days. So this is where I implore the sort of the toaster people to remember what the manager has said. He hasn't been specific, but he said there's going to be some horrible days while we build this. He then gone on to say, I had this period in Sporting. If you are experienced in football, this happens with a lot of clubs. We have to continue doing the same things and improve the team. Now, to all you sarcastic sons of guns in the comments, that doesn't mean Onana doing what he did today or Lissandro doing what they did today. He means the positive things and moving forward. And that's why I said to some people like Joshua earlier, I think it would be wrong to go, do you know what? Let's just drop what we're trying to do and find something really comfortable and easy for all these players. Because, again, you'll know this, Sunshine, because you're an athlete. I know you've done quite a lot of stuff to a high level as well, Hassam. You never get to that next level unless you push through the uncomfortable moments, the difficult moments. You have to break those barriers. And I think it's really easy for us as kind of fans to go, let's just do the easy thing because it makes us feel better in the short term. But we need to push ourselves as a club through the outside our comfort zone to improve. It's very important.
Yeah.
Rude wins that game easy with 4 at the back. Back 3. But 3 at the back is not why we lost today, my friend. Come on.
Oh my
That's
god.
and Rude may have done.
But
And Rude.
To be fair,
Go on.
in all the games we've played, the 3 at the back has never been the reason why we have dropped points of last game or drawn games.
Yeah.
It's always actually been down to either individual mistakes like today or the attack being not good enough. I don't think there's ever been a game I sat there like, you know what, this system, there's so many holes in it. The defenders are isolated, the midfield is spread apart, there's massive holes everywhere. We can't do it. It's nothing to do with the 3 at the back. It's all to do with the attacking element of the game and individual errors and basic mistakes.
No, I totally sorry, you gonna ask another question, Steve?
Yeah, I was gonna ask the Man United fans because I was doing a watch. I was doing the watch along for the game. My guy, Flawless, and he is mostly angry because of the starting 11. And his logic was, and I agree with them on this: the midweek performance versus Arsenal, Højlund wasn't good, Garnacho wasn't good, Bruno wasn't good. He wanted to see, and also Mazraoui being dropped as well. What do you guys think of the lineup? Because I thought it was.
Well, again, on Mazar, he's been pretty much the one common denominator that hasn't missed any of the game time, and you need to rotate and everything else. But this is what I would say to anyone moaning about the starting lineup. The manager's been quite forthright. He is essentially having pre-season live on the job. He's experimenting, and none of us will know what and why he's doing things, and we shouldn't know that because there's private information that you don't want rivals knowing about, right? As in the actual clubs. But there may be an element where they go, right, today's team's going to be low block and going to sit. I really want to test what Højlund with Bruno looks like against low blocks today versus what they look like against a team like Arsenal that might attack us. I'm giving a hypothetical example. I get the base level of what Flawless is saying because I wanted Mazza in the team today. I really want to see Ahmad not
Yellow
play
in the
fullback.
10 was another one.
Yeah. I want to see that. At the same time, this is why I can't get angry. The manager is, in one way, shape, or form, told us that it's trial and error, and they're going to be trying multiple things. They're going to be rotating a lot. They're working out what does and doesn't work. But essentially, he hasn't got a preseason to do it. He doesn't have any training either. It's literally match preparation. So we're having to do everything on job, which is why he's also said there's going to be some really bad fucking days. Yeah. But you need to stay with us. So again, some people will look at that and go, that's just low standards and that's just excuses. Fair enough. If the manager and the club over the next 12, 18 months, we don't become a much better football team that's more consistent, then we can look back at these early. We could look back at these early words and go, do you know what? The manager and the club were just chatting shit. But if we do start to improve and we become better, then hopefully we'll look. And this is why I think what we need to take from when you go and look and listen back to what the sort of Rodgers and the Klopp said in their early days at Liverpool. If you go back and look at the early days of City, go back and look at what Arsenal were going through very early on, first couple of years under Arteta. Go back to the last couple of years at Chelsea when they were rebuilding this squad and what they're doing. Very similar things were being said, and look where they all are. Now, there's not a guarantee we're going to get to where those clubs are or achieve what Liverpool and City have done. At the same time, I think it's the first time we've operated in 12 years with this type of structure at the club. I do think we need to give it a little bit more time and patience, but that doesn't mean you can't scrutinize errors and mistakes and things you don't like. I just think there needs to be a bit of a balance. But I wasn't completely happy with it, but I am understanding. And what you'll get is you'll get comments that will say, Terry, that's copium. So again, and this is the type of response I want from rivals, because they'll say, why are you bringing up other clubs? Because it's a case in point. It's the same as Arsenal fans the other day. It wasn't copium when you said, well, scoring from corners is okay. Man United won a Champions League scoring from corners. You used us as an example as why goals from corners are really important, and you were spot on. The same as from my point of view, there's no guarantees our rebuild will work. There's no guarantees Amorim will win us a Premier League. I've said that. But from my point of view, every single one of those other clubs I've mentioned at the early stages of their new owners or their new club structure, not new manager, just their new club structure implementation, there was many ups, many downs, and loads of painful moments as they grew their squad and developed their club style and got the right head coach in to set them to title challenge and win trophies. And if all those clubs had to go through that pain, Man United fans have just got to learn to take their medicine and develop a thick skin during that period. Doesn't mean you can't criticize and be angry like we've all been today. And if you see rivals saying it's copium, in my opinion, that tells you you're at the very least on the right track. Doesn't mean you'll win the race, but I think it means you're on the right track.
To back up your point, I mean, and I know Newcastle United, Man United expectations and standards, history, whatever. We're not at the same level. We're aspiring to be at a high level. We've been owned by PAF for a few years. We're still going through a rebuild. We're still going through a rebuild.
You're a great example.
And again, you have more money. And Aston Villa, they've been under Unai Emery. They did very well last year, but this year they're slipping up a bit. So you're right. And this is rivals say things like this, right? And it's great banter. Should have kept Rude. Cool. Remember, it's rivals that will say things like Klopp only won one Prem. He was average. Right. So it don't matter what you do. Say Man United now won every game between now and the end of the season and won the league. Hypothetical, so rivals don't cry. You would get, but you should be after what you spent in the last 11 years. Rivals have got to remember that, typically speaking, no matter how good your team is, your rivals always try and shit on it. Rivals shat on Fergie winning 13 league titles, paid the refs, did this, did that, illegitimate. It's just the way it is. So look, but your net spend was worse than ours, blah, 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 blah. It's the way it is. So United fans, like I say, rivals, you're meant to do it. I love that you do it. It's a big part of the football terrace. Man United fans, fucking grow you need some rhino skin, kids. You need some fucking rhino skin to get through this. But most of you don't, because your ability, your depth to take banter is as shallow as a worm's fucking grave. There we go. Look, I want to thank everyone who's tuned into the show today, especially the rivals for giving us so much shit. I do appreciate it. KJ was wrong. It wasn't the wind that blew the ball. I thought.
Fair enough. Fair enough.